Good morning everyone, welcome to my channel. So in today's Christmas craft video series, I'm going to work on this envelope. Now this envelope's going to have the key in it for the kids, and it is a pre-made envelope that I've grabbed from our store. We sell these, they're everywhere. There's different companies around Australia that does a version of it. So this is the one that we had this year in our range, and I thought what a great base to start with. It's a felt, and I did point out on the previous video how they caught the rope in the spine seam, which I thought was quite tricky. So if you decide to do something like this, pretty much it's two pieces of felt or fabric, whatever you want to use, cut to size, and then they've run a sewing machine around the perimeter of that piece, catching in the process the front panel. They've then put some Velcro on there so that can be easily opened, and that cord has been caught in that side seam process. So really simple, and this is just like a felt. So now I want to embellish it. We've got letters to Santa here and this yucky looking pre-stamped. My original thought was to do a decorative piece on the back, but the more I thought about it, the more I felt like it wasn't going to be seen. And the other thing is, I knew I definitely want to cover that, but this here, I'm just not loving it. I know it's letters to Santa and it easily tells, you know, the kids what to do, but I just want to have a think about maybe changing it up a little bit, but still be able to communicate that it's letters to Santa. So I've got these little feature pieces here with Santas on them. I just want to have a little bit of a play with it and maybe create a decorative piece that can slide in there. Dear Santa. See, now that tells me that this is a letters to Santa. What else is there? That one did catch my eye because of the size of it for the back, but it will work here as well. If that's trimmed down, how do they attach to that? Just glued it on. So I'm wondering if I trim that down a little, that'll still catch. Like if we made a clustery thing happening here, I think it'll work. All right, let's grab some, start with the basics. Let's grab some calico. Let's grab maybe some doily bits. I'm just standing up now looking at the massive pile of stuff. There's a little doily. Let's see what we can sort of piece together. And I have my box of fabric from the Journal of Stitchery project, so there should be plenty of scraps in there. I don't need embroidery cottons. They're sitting on my desk just taking up space because I've already chosen the black and the red. Why is that not closing? What's going on? The black and the red cottons were pulled out the other day. I still haven't stitched those tags. I just got sidetracked. But they're waiting beside my couch. So what I might do is let's just trim this down. Let me get those out of the way because we've made a decision. Tuck them in there. I'm going to take a bit more off of this postage stamp because I want to just get it in underneath that. It's such an ugly green Velcro. I could change it out, but I'm concerned that if I take it off, which it would come off, it's not exactly strong. Probably could do with a stitch or two, to be honest, which I might end up doing yet. I could replace it with a white one. It's just glued on there. And it really needs a stitch. Like, if I can pull that off, could you imagine? Oh, look, I'm going to leave it for now, but don't be surprised if I swap that out. We'll see. We'll see if it holds up to me tugging and pulling at it, and, you know, see how it's sort of just in the way, where if I could build... Yeah. It's coming off, guys. Even if I reattached this one, but I can reattach it in a better position, maybe on top of my needlework. And if it looks blaringly ugly, and I'll just stick it there for now. So it's out of the way. Okay, I'm happy now. I've now got a blank slate where I can position, and then maybe the little dot could be made to sit a little bit better, or a little bit further back, or yeah. Anyway, I'm going to need a bigger piece of calico because I really want a base. Where's my box of calico? Hang on one moment. Probably nothing. Oh yeah, here we go. This piece will be bigger. My phone is pinging and pinging with messages. Okay, nothing urgent. That's the main thing. So let's get ourselves a base, which is this piece of calico. It gives us something to stabilize our embroidery on. Threads everywhere. And let's create a slow stitch piece using that Santa to sit. The other thing I was thinking about is that white stitching that is on this. I'm not a lover, but I like the idea of it. And I'm wondering, how hard would it be to get a needle and thread and go over it with a cotton. I better turn my phone on silent because I can get the feeling that the world is waking up and I'm getting messages and it could ring. So I've just flicked it on silent because I don't want to be interrupted. All right, so that is just my base piece, and I know that that will sit perfectly there. Now, I guess my question is, can I get this stitch in? Let's have a try. How are we going for time? 8 minutes, that's all right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure a piece of cotton that should get me around the entire way, and I'm going to attempt to overstitch that print because it sort of makes it feel a bit cheap. And I can tell you now, unless a lot of green appears on this envelope, that is gone, and I'll replace it with a white. So let's bring my needle up in there like that. Now it pulls through okay. Now I'm wondering, can I get my needle? My might be a bit tricky, but I think I can do it. So now I'm going to overstitch, and because it's felt, I should be able to just skim through. And as long as I check that I haven't caught the bottom underneath, which I haven't, that's pretty simple to do. So that, I believe, will work. So this is a prime example of just keeping your eyes open for things that pop up in the stores around Christmas that you potentially could embellish and add to. So that hasn't gone through. And I can pull that easily through. This is just a crochet cotton I picked up at the op shop. Whenever I see them, I just grab them because they're great colours, neutral. And just check I haven't gone through. No, because it's so thick, it's allowing my needle to actually travel quite comfortably underneath through the layers. Yeah, that's good. Okay, guys, I won't go too much more because I think you get the general gist of what I'm going to do by just taking my time and scooting through the layers of this felt with the thread. Now, because I'm using the same colour as what they've printed on this piece, it's not going to look out of place, and it's thread now instead of paint. So that will work. So let's move on from there, and I'll just tuck my thread in there out of the way for now so I can easily finish that, and then I will also do the same to the back. Gosh, I need to clean my mat. So let's just throw together a collaged piece with Santa. So that's a good start. What have we got in the way of goodies? The key has some of these fabrics on. So let's open our box of tricks and just lay down some bits and pieces. I don't want to think too much about it. I'm going to lay them down. Let's get my fabric scissors. It's just going to be a patchwork and layers. So I put that whole piece down. This piece is a beauty because it allows me to put X's. Yeah, what the hang, it's down. Like that. That's definitely going to find a spot. Let's get a bit of that. Just trying not to think too much. I'm just going to patchwork some bits and pieces to try and drag it all together. What else have we got in our little bit of paisley? No. I think I need a red. I need a red. And I need a bit of beige. So I need to dip into the box with the blue fabrics in it because that's where all the beiges are. I can do some little stitches to highlight it. Where's my beige? some little shapes. Like I said, I'm trying not to overthink it too much. Just all about patches and bits and pieces. Excuse me. Yeah, like that. I wonder if there's a word or doesn't really go with it. Juniper, berries, mistletoe. No, they're not words that really suit. So I feel like I need something like a feature. Do we use one of our got plenty to spare? Might just cut. Don't know if I'll use it, but I might just cut this out. Sort of feel like I need a floral element to it. It's like the table runner that just keeps giving. Where's my little scissors? I'm going to end up taking a finger off with that lot. Here they are. I'm just going to fussy cut out this. If I don't end up using it, it's not a worry because I'm sure I'll use it somewhere on my projects. Like I've got all those tags to make. If you've just found me for the first time, go back 2 videos and you'll see that my Christmas crafts this year is going to be a combination of quite a few little to-dos, which should bring me right into Christmas with a few gifts. And part of that project are some tags that I can tuck a Christmas gift into the back of them. So they're nearly like a parcel, but in the form of a tag. And then I plan to just do some little clustery, slow stitch, few little stitches, bits and bobs on them to sort of decorate them. Yeah, I like that. I like how the doily might hang down a little bit too. Yeah, I like that. That is going to be pretty. It's just a little cluster of bits and bobs that I can then embellish with some stitches. It's a letter to Santa. He's reading the letters. I've just got to position that doily so I don't cover the word up of Santa. So let's just pin everything. I can add some beads. I can add some buttons. I usually put a red button over that gold because I've noticed that because that's a second-hand doily, that gold thread is giving away a little bit. So it could do with something just to secure it. I need to lower that piece because it's interfering with the 1 cent, but the 1 cent might end up getting covered because we also need to bring in something to secure the envelope. So I'm going to move this off now because I'm not going to use it. I don't like the green, so let's get rid of it. That glue we can hide with a piece of fabric. So I might just use Calico. And I've got some of those white. Yeah, that's better. Let's just put that Calico there. And I can put a Velcro dot there in white, then another one there in white. It won't matter that we lose our 1 cent. Like, you just can't keep everything sometimes. Maybe we do another piece of calico there, so that it doesn't look like we have covered that 1 cent. We're disguising the fact that it's gone, I'm thinking. Then I can put a stitch through the Velcro dot, just to make sure that it holds, because you imagine many little fingers ripping at it, opening and closing it as they put their, I thought I'd pinned it, but I haven't. Before I stitch all this down, I just got to make sure that everything is where I want it to be. Might even put a word there, like, I don't know, we'll see. A few more pins. Because I haven't stitched the tags yet, I can just add this piece to the pile of to-dos. Yeah, that's good. And then because I'm going to stitch the Velcro dot into position, that means I'm going to have issues at the front here. So let's make another one of those little messy little characters, little patch, and let's aim to have another one that needs to move over just a little bit. That's better. Just so it all lines up. That goes on. Let's aim to have another patch here, and maybe a cluster or a button, or there'll be something go there that when that stitch comes through to catch that Velcro. I might grab the Velcro spots. Hold 1 second. I think I know where they are. Here we go. I could even do, you know, a button and a tie and things like that, but I think this will work really well, being that I can also add a few stitches, and it's not as intrusive, and that will go down to there. Yeah, so all we'll see there is just a little white dot. When it's opened, there'll be a little furry dot. Much better. That's not as, you know, green. So that's what I will be using there. So I'll just pop that away. Okay, so we'll need that. We've got a piece on the top here that we can create a little decorative something. Let's just cluster some of this fabric together. And it's at least with me on the couch. Okay, put that there. I might even put a button. Yeah, let's do that. It looks like a button is holding it all together, but we know that behind the button, yeah, let's do that. Little red button, which will go through and catch the Velcro. Does that make sense? Yes, of course it makes sense. Completely logical, Corrine. All right, so I'm pretty happy with that little base. I sort of feel like I do need an extra little element there. I wonder if I've got a yo-yo made anywhere. My red or a timber element. Sorry guys, I've just jumped up. I've got a pack of bits and bobs that I have put aside for whenever I do red work in my red journal, red bits and pieces, and in amongst it are some yo-yos. So maybe, that doesn't look right colour, does it? Maybe we work a few yo-yos in. I know Grandma will appreciate the yo-yos. They sort of don't quite look right. I think it's that fabric's competing with it. No. They need to sort of be more down the bottom, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. There's a few extra buttons in here. Maybe I just do buttons. Yeah. Maybe I just do a cluster of buttons, some random. Because you know when Santa's making gifts, there's often buttons lying around the floor in the North Pole. Left over from, you know, when the elves are making all of these bits and pieces, buttons go astray. It's just what you expect. So I think I'm going to do a button. It's been picked up from the floor where Santa's been busy working. Or the elves. We all know the elves do all the work. Yeah, I'll just work something in there that's a little bit textured, I think. I think that's going to work. So what I'm going to do now is put this fabric away. Out of my way, because I don't need any more elements. I don't need any of the creams that were in the blue Journal of Stitchery pack. I've got plenty of beads and bits and bobs that we can embellish with once we get the backgrounds down. I could put another piece of fabric down there, but we'll see. This was on the was lying on the floor beside my foot. It looks like a great little treasure. Maybe it needs to be on the project. Yeah, I sort of don't mind it there. I'll use cream thread to sort of embellish all that. So I'll lift that up now. There's our panel that will go on. We've got time, so let's get our invisible stitches done, and then I can remove all those pins and start stitching it all down. So everything's attached. Let's just start on this edge. So I hope you're all having a great day. I hope you've got some time in the craft room, if you're not in there already, working away. Or you might be relaxing somewhere, watching me work away. Well, get up and get into your craft room. Off you go. I'm just going to stitch this down the background. So if you did want to move along and watch someone else, if your time is precious, go for it, because you're not going to be missing much. You're just going to be watching me struggle with these pins as it catches everything. Goodness me. I should know by now. Put the pin in properly, nice and deep. So I'm just scooting up the side of this piece with some little stitches, just so that I don't have to fight it when I get to the couch tonight. And I hope I get stitching done tonight. Goodness me. It's like the day goes so quick. Sometimes I get a bit of time in the afternoon where we sort of had lunch and sit down and get a moment. But then if I get weary, I get to the evening and I just can't do it. I'm just too tired. The day's been too much and I just need to lay there and contemplate my existence. So the thought of picking up a needle and thread is just not what I feel like. So best laid plans. But then some nights I pick it up and I just go like the troopers, like I've still got energy left from the day. I obviously haven't worn myself out. So I spend the day racing around like a crazy girl. I get to the end of the night and it's like, no, I'm finished. I do like to do some stitching of an evening. Sort of just helps me to relax. Just jumping around the place, catching everything down. So the little embellished embroidery piece, I will go around the outside of it and using a whip stitch just catch it down right around the whole perimeter. That stops its fraying. Not that it frays much because the fabric is very synthetic, so it's sort of got, I'd say, so much glue in it that it's not going anywhere. So I can remove that pin now. So I would say in the next video, I will have this completed, well, hopefully. It might just pop up randomly, especially it takes me a few days to actually get to it. But at least we've got the mechanics of it nutted out. We know how it's going to close. We know where all the embellishing is going to go. So it should come together really well. Okay. Now there was a patch up here. I think I can remove that pin. That just needs to be made sure she's in the right position. Work out exactly where you're going to go. I like it there. So let's get a few little microscopic stitches in there just to hold you. Itty bitty tiny little stitches just to eliminate pins. Oh, look, see, they're even in my board and they're still catching me. Okay, so that little patch is now held to some degree. Just scoot out here and make sure this is secure. Then across to here. I like so. Just scooting around the place, catching everything. I like how the slow stitch process, there's lots of steps to it all. That in itself is very therapeutic, I think. It's like taking the time to break it down into just simple little tasks that you don't have to think. So even doing this stage, I find very relaxing because my thinking is done. And if I am looking at the panel just from a more of a simplistic stitch it down way, I can now have a little think maybe about the embellishing. Like I can see that we've got a gap here that is just perfect for a cluster of something. The main thing will be to make sure that the envelope flap isn't covering it. So that'll be some thing I'll need to check before I get too crazy with buttons and beads and that. I'll need to find exactly the location of that, the V, because the last thing you want to do is have something really pretty there and it's not actually seen. Okay, now I've got a bit of extra thread left, so I'm just going to work my way around this doily now. I may as well, because the doily would be attached exactly how I'm doing it. Just following the crocheter's hand. Isn't it the sweetest little doily? It's not even cut from anything. It actually was at the op shop. Exactly how you see it. And it's been rattling around on my desk looking for a home. So it has now found its home. So just coming to the center there. And we'll look at securing that right up that side. Okay. Ow. There's my finger in there. Might get one more stitch and then I'll have to get some more thread, or maybe two. Might make it to there. Okay. Let's end that off. Don't you just love calico? Isn't it the most useful thing in your craft room? It's just such a good substrate. It's not too thick, not too thin. It's easy to stitch through, so you don't feel like you're working your fingers too much because they start to get sore. It's just, yeah, the best. I think you call it muslin in America. Calico here. I'd say UK, you probably call it calico as well, because most of our terms sort of cross over to the UK and Canada. Okay, I'm just going to go around that edge. I just want to make sure that all those little points on that doily are secure, because if anything's going to curl over time and look tatty, it'll be that. And because it's textiles, people, you watch them go through your book, you find that their hands will rub over everything, which is perfectly fine, and that's exactly what it is all about, feeling the texture. So if little fingers are going to rub over this, I'm going to make sure that we need to just pinch that back a little bit from the A as well. We want to read the word Santa, so we will secure the doily so that that is sorted. Just a little bit. We all know what it says, but sometimes that little bit of space between letters really helps the brain realise what the word is quickly. So I'm just going to make sure that that doily is not encroaching too much there without looking like it's pulled back by me, which I don't think it will. I think that looks okay. Yep. I'm going to grab that little point, and then I think there's only one more to do. Yep. Now this family is also going to get some of those gifts from Grace that we were talking about. So what I'll do is probably put the cards that come showing the gifts in the envelope as well with the key, and that'll be their family gift. I'm thinking there is a grandma and a granddad too, so, and then the 3 kids and the mum. So what's that? That's a family of 5. So 5 little gifts we'll need. I am thinking about making Grandma a little Christmas journal. I don't know if she'd use it, but if we get time, maybe I make a little envelope journal, just something simple. Maybe pop a few of Rachel's prompts in it to sort of get her started. She's in transition between homes at the moment because they're considering selling their house, and she's at her daughter's house, which is around the corner, helping with the kids, and very, very busy. And she's dreaming of the day when she has time to get back into crafting, because she has pretty much packed up her house ready to put it on the market. But that was like 3 months ago, and it hasn't happened yet because they're selling their place, plus the daughter is going to sell as well. So she's in like this transition where she doesn't have access to all of her goodies. And I'm wondering, I sort of feel like that might roll into the new year. So the property market has slowed a little bit. So if that rolls into the new year, she's not going to have her hands on her cottons and threads and, you know, all of her little crocheting projects and knitting. She loves knitting. So if we were to give her a little journal, she might enjoy just playing in that, and she won't need anything because we can put everything she needs in it. So, I don't know, just a thought. We've got a lot on our plate here, and I'm potentially talking about another project. I don't know why I do this to myself, but we'll see. We've got time. Well, do we? I think so. We've got this sorted, so that was one of the projects. This just needs a little bit of stitching and it's ready to go. I won't film all of that because, you know, I'll just show you where I'm at with it. So I don't think there'll be any more videos relating to this project. And like I said, they're all going to be mixed up, muddled up. You won't know what you're getting next. It's going to be like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get, as Forrest Gump would say. So if I didn't mention, I'm overcasting around the little embroidery element because I'm just going to use that same sewing machine cotton to do it. The doily is secure, so now I'm pretty much at the stage of getting some of those cottons out and just embellishing the little patches of fabric that are left, just doing some seed stitch. And you do know I like my seed stitch. Okay, and away we go again. How are we going for time? We've got 15 minutes. So let's just carry on there and keep stitching down this poinsettia. I can't wait to get out amongst the shops and see all the Christmas bits and pieces. I have selected my own range for my own Christmas shops, which is, you know, exciting, but I did that back in January, February, because we've got to get our orders in from all of the different wholesalers. So now everyone else has their Christmas out. I like to have a good look around because there might be something that catches my eye, like a placemat or a table runner that has some embroidery on it, like this piece. Mind you, it's sort of not on trend at the moment. There's not a lot of it around because, you know, if I saw it in my wholesalers' catalogues, I'd buy it quick as look at you, and because I know it would sell in the store. So I'm always looking for, you know, beautiful pieces to decorate tables for our customers. There's not a lot of really nice embroidery things around. And this panel that I've been cutting away from, the doily, that actually came from an op shop. So did the bauble one. If you've watched me stitch the vintage image prompt, I used a doily that had a gold and cream bauble. That also came from an op shop, and I know if I could get that in quantity in my own Christmas shops, it would sell. It's just so pretty, but I think it's from quite a few years ago. There was a lot of stains on it, so it was well used numerous times, so it may even be, you know, 10-year-old. Who knows? Bring back embroidery into our Christmas decorating elements. Whoever's out there listening and does all this design work for products for us all, bring back embroidery. Okay, so whipping around this edge, we've got 10 minutes still. So I'm just going to keep stitching. I'll have to find my crochet cotton, the narrower crochet cotton in the cream, and maybe a red, and add it to the pile next to my couch to stitch. Okay, around this edge. This is a bit tedious, but it's got to be done. Let me know in the comments below what you're working on. Is it something for Christmas as part of your Christmas gift making process, or is it a journal for yourself, or are you not doing anything with the Christmas this year and you decided to do something that's, I don't know, Jane Austen or Peter Rabbit? Who knows? There's so many great topics out there that we can make things from. I would have loved to have started Christmas back in October, way back in October, and had a good 3 months out of it. But I just had so many projects on the go, it just didn't happen. My William Morris journal, which then led into a big slow stitch project, just took over. And then there was some unfinished projects that I had in a box that I wanted to clear, and you saw me do all those. They were using Rachel's digitals journals, Roxy Creations. So I think there was 3 videos that tidied up that. I had made covers ages ago, so I just wanted to get them made into little journals and get them into my little Etsy store. And then I had a gorgeous kit from Paper Daisy that I wanted to play with. I've got a Peter Rabbit project sitting in the corner of my room. I made a journal for someone ages ago out of a paper bag themed with Peter Rabbit. And it was just so sweet that I made a second one for myself just to have it in my bookshelf. And I want to make it with you guys because I think I grabbed it one day to show you guys something that was in it. And then everyone was like, oh, please, please make the Peter Rabbit journal. So I haven't forgotten. I will. But it's going to be next year. I've just run out of weeks. It's a fantastic little project using some great digitals from, I'm not going to say who yet because I can't remember. I will have to look it up. So we will make a Peter Rabbit journal and then bring some stitching into it, and we'll take it a little bit further than what I did the first time because, you know, you just have to. So I can't wait to play with young Peter Rabbit. And what else have I got? Oh, there's a few little ideas sitting over in the corner of the room for next year. Okay, coming down the inside of this little leaf. This is probably very boring viewing for you, but that's slow stitch, isn't it? And I like to show you true time if I can. It saves me doing too much editing. I don't mind hitting pause and then coming back and tacking on a little bit. I don't mind doing that. But I really don't know how to edit videos to any great degree. Keep it simple. Otherwise, if it gets too complicated and I have to spend too much time in front of a computer preparing videos, I'll stop doing it. I want to spend my time playing, not editing. Okay, I'm running out of thread and I'm running out of time. Couple more stitches in it. Just want to trim that little nick out. It's a bit untidy. That's better. And I'll do one more stitch in there and that will bring that thread to an end, I'd say. And I still got to go a little bit further around it yet. What I will do is I just want to position it on the envelope, see where the flap comes down, and then mark the spot where I can add embellishments. That way, if I'm sitting on the couch later tonight, I can confidently go forward and yeah, look, plenty of space. It's nowhere near. So I can really, you know, layer in there all sorts of goodies in that zone. Okay, that's great. Okay, everyone, thank you so much for joining me and being patient as I put together this little slow stitch project for the kids. The key inside, we will add pigs and latrine gifts inside. I think Grandad would have to have a latrine. He'd get a real giggle out of that. So I think Grandad will get a latrine. I think the mum, I'm thinking along the lines of a small business package. She'd really get a chuckle out of that. And the kids might get a pig each. That might be how it goes. But we'll see. I've really got to make that list and finalise it and order them. So, but anyway, in the meantime, we're cruising along. Yet to secure that side. But yeah, I can stitch it, stitch, stitch. That's going to go on there. Love it. How nice is that? How sweet. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. I will say goodbye and see you in the next video. Bye.